Hey, good morning. Glad to be back in 1 Samuel with you and doing our devotional this morning from 1 Samuel 14, 24 through 52. We get to finish up 1 Samuel 14 this morning. And as we're reading through the text, we see that the text this morning is going to reveal that when we live life for ourselves, or focused on our own goals or by our own power, we end up making foolish decisions, and not only making foolish decisions for ourselves, but we end up making foolish decisions and trying to force those decisions on other people so that we could reach our goals, so that we can get our will accomplished. And when those other people in our lives do not measure up to our expectations, and they never will, then we start to get frustrated, we lash out, we blame them, or we end up cutting them out of our lives because they're just not doing what we want them to do. The text today focuses in on part of the battle from Philippians, or not Philippians, from the battle with the Philistines from the first part of this chapter. So verses 1 through 23 are kind of an overview of what's going on in this battle. And then as we look at 24 through 52, the author is showing us this scene that happens during the middle of the battle, and this rash vow that Saul makes to make things happen the way that he wants them to. And we know from the previous passage that Jonathan is working, and he's operating, he's living his life based on faith in the Lord's action. He's motivated people to stand up and pursue their enemy. So that's where we pick up today, and we see that, and the men of Israel had been hard pressed that day because Saul has been pushing them to continue to fight the Philistines. So Saul had laid an oath on the people, saying, "Cursed be the man who eats food until it is evening, and I am avenged of my own enemies," or of my enemies. And you see how Saul is still setting this or seeing this battle in a very selfish way. He says, until I am avenged of my enemies. He's not worried about the glory of God. He's worried about his own glory. So when we are not focused on God's glory, but our own glory, what happens is we start trying to gain control. We start trying to control whatever we can, no matter who that affects. We just want to make sure that we're getting our way accomplished. And then Saul, he makes this crazy vow. And I hope you're reading this with me. I hope you read through this chapter and you see that he makes this vow that they can't eat anything until he's avenged. And they're so hard pressed that when they beat the Philistines in this one area and they drive them out to Ajalon, they are so faint that they start slaughtering animals and just eating them without cooking them. And this, if you've read through Leviticus, is not okay. This is a problem. You cannot eat animals with their blood still in them, because the blood it represents life, and all life belongs to God. So that is not okay what they're doing. But Saul's rash vow has pushed them to do this. He's pushed them so hard that he's driven them to sin against God. And he even pushes his son almost to the point of killing him. So Jonathan doesn't realize the vow that he's made, and he eats a little honey. And then Saul's going to say, you know what? I'm going to save face. I'm going to kill my own son because I said this, and he didn't live up to my own standard. Whatever he could do for his own glory. And it's not until he receives the victory that he actually stops and gives glory to God. He builds an altar to the Lord, and it's the first altar that he built to the Lord. And the only reason he does that is so that they can cook these animals, and he doesn't receive backlash from Samuel, I'm assuming from Samuel or from the Lord. So in our daily lives, we need to ask ourselves, first we need to realize we're more like Saul than we actually want to admit. But we need to ask ourselves, am I trusting in people to accomplish what needs to be accomplished, or am I trusting in the Lord? Do I have faith in the Lord? Am I trying to accomplish my will, or am I trying to accomplish the Lord's will? Or in Saul's case, like Saul, am I trying to accomplish the Lord's will, which was to defeat the Philistines, but with my own means? Instead of using faith, I'm using others, and I'm trying to force control. Is that what I'm trying to do? I wonder, have you ever wondered why you get so frustrated with people when they don't do the things that you expect them to do? Most of the time, it's because you're forcing your expectations on them. And your expectations are making yourself look better. Even if you desire for someone to live a godly life, or to be obedient, or to follow the Lord, or to obey their parents, a lot of times, obey His commands, whatever, your frustration or your desire to control how they respond, you have to realize is not going to change them. You can yell all day long, and it's not going to change them. You can stomp your feet. You can get upset. It's not going to change them. What you need to do instead is spend time on your knees in prayer for them. And not only for them, but for your own heart. Why am I being frustrated? I need to trust in the Lord. I need to, instead of trying to push them, I need to trust Him. Pray that the Lord would work in their lives. God, this is your will. I know your will is for them to do this because your word says so. So would you accomplish that in their hearts? But also, Lord, work in my heart so that I trust that you're working out your plan. That whatever's going on is good for my heart and good for them also. You're never out of control. I trust you. We don't need to lose control like Saul does here. Because honestly, we never had control. We're not trying to control. We're trying to live life according to God's will. So trust the Lord, worship Him, and use times of frustration to build your faith in His sovereignty. Have a blessed day.